Hey there, dads, Martin here. And look, when I was in the corporate world, I worked in financial services for 20 years. I went from being kind of a marketing assistant that seemed to do an awful lot of proofreading, right through to somebody who was ultimately responsible for millions of clients, billions of pounds worth of investments, pensions, and profits. And I really, that corporate ladder climbing thing, yeah, I did it, right? And it came at a massive, massive cost, because the further I got into this, the longer this went on, the more years that passed, the more opportunities that I got. Well, the more stressed I got, the more overwhelmed I got, the more frustrated I got, the more exhausted I got. Why? Well, because my only strategy for getting through the ever-increasing work list, which I now realized wasn't just ever-increasing, it was never ending. My only strategy was to work harder and longer to get it all done. And hope, wish and pray that somehow it would all work out. And as a result of that, there was a whole heap of guilt and resentment. Why? Because I wasn't spending the quality time with my family. I am a family man through and through. My family are everything to me. And I hear this from a lot of dads. Oh, I do anything for my family. My family are number one. Yeah, just like I used, that is exactly how I feel. And it is from the heart. But you're not spending the quality time with your family because you're always working. And you're working ever increasing longer hours. And even when you're with your family, you're not really present. You're still thinking and worrying about work. The amount of times my family picked me up on that. I remember it was one summer and I went for a family walk. We love walking, we love going up the hills, and we're blessed to have beautiful countryside and hills around us. And so we went up one of our favourite hills as a family. My kids, my two boys were a lot younger then. Should have been an awful lot of fun, and just, it was a glorious day. I remember the blue skies, sunshine, it was just perfect. I was not in the zone at all. I wasn't there. And we got to the top of the hill and my wife looked at me and said, "Martin, you're not here." Which felt like a really weird thing to say, and I remember my reaction. It was like, "What are you talking about? I'm right here. I'm stood right here." That's not what she meant. Yeah, I was here physically, but I was not there mentally. I wasn't taking in all the beauty. I wasn't there present with my boys. I wasn't doing all the fun stuff like climbing the trees. And I wasn't engaged with my family as you would expect, as you would want. Why? Because I was in my head worrying and thinking about work, because I had so much to do. I had no clue how the heck I was going to get through it all. Now here's the warning. 2 weeks after that walk, 2 weeks after my wife picked me up and said, "Hey, you're not really here. What's going on?" 2 weeks after that, I had my first burnout. And I'm not talking about I got a little bit tired, I got a bit exhausted. I'm talking about full-blown burnout, when your body and mind start shutting down on you because it can't take anymore. And I tell you now, that is a really, really scary experience. And that first one happened at work. I literally got to work, turned on the computer, stared at the screen, and then everything just went blank. My eyes went fuzzy, the hearing went fuzzy, my heart felt like it was going to leap out of my chest, and it was really tight. My head felt like it was in a vice. It felt like there was a knife twisting in my stomach. I started shaking uncontrollably. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. It was absolutely terrifying. That's burnout. 2 weeks before, I was on the top of the hill with my family and I wasn't present. But I also felt like I was invincible. This stuff wasn't going to happen. Burnout wasn't going to happen to me. Neither was depression or low mood or generalized anxiety disorder or liver disease or self-harm or all the other stuff that then followed. We kind of feel like we're invincible. We kind of feel like, yeah, if I can just work harder and longer, somehow I'm going to get through this. And I tell you what, it was a very, very painful experience. I just want to save you that. I want to save you the pain of this, because maybe you're not quite there yet. Maybe things just feel a little bit edgy. Maybe things are just a little bit rushed all the time and it's just slightly out of balance. You're not working all-nighters like I was. 72-hour days were not uncommon once I got to that breaking point. But maybe you're not there. But deep down, if you're honest with yourself, you just know the balance isn't right and you don't know how you're going to address that. Especially when you feel like you don't have the time to learn anything new. So this is why I put together a free class. I put a free class together for you, a free training that goes through this path. And we go through it in a little bit more depth and honesty. And I also then look at what this path is all about. A path where you can feel more calm, more confident, more in control of your time, of your workload, where you can do a great job, potentially an even better job than you're doing right now, which means you're also more valuable to that organization. Probably a good, decent thing to be in these economic times. Also, you can spend quality time with your family and have that balance that you want. So I put together this free training. It is from the heart. A dad approached me and said, hey, what was the one thing that they could do right now? Not the top 3 things, 5, 10, 30 things. What was the one thing that they could do right now because they don't have the mental capacity to take on lots of stuff? And I looked at everything that I'd done over 27 years, the stuff that worked and the order in which I did them. And I brought it all back to this one thing where these paths actually converge. And there is a simple thing you can do. No matter where you are on this stress path, there is a simple thing that you can do to get at least onto a path where you feel more calm, more confident, and in control. And on this path, once you're on there, you'll naturally start asking different questions of everything, of your workload, of your meetings, of your time, of yourself, of work. And you will be more open to then learning about, more work strategies or time strategies, the stuff that can really then help build and keep you on this path. So from the heart, free training for you, for my fellow dads, knowing full well what it feels like to be here on any aspect of this spectrum. I've done it all, and that is not a badge of honor. I just don't want you to go any further feeling like this, because you don't need to. You genuinely don't need to. And this is stuff that, to be honest, it should be taught in school, college, university. It should be taught in inductions. It should be taught on regular, training, yearly training in your organization. It should be accessible because it will save an awful lot of pain and suffering, and it'll make you a heck of a lot better at work. But the secret is, it'll also make you better at life. And privilege and pleasure to share it with you. Go and click the link now. If you click the link, you'll go through, give me your email address, I'll send it to you. If you've got time to watch it there and then, you can go straight through to it, that's great. But if you haven't, I'll email it to you and you can watch it in your own time, no pressure. And I'll just remind you through the week that it's there, because these emails go to the bottom of the list after a day of emails, 200 emails, then you won't be able to find it again. So I'll send it to you, I'll remind you it's there. And I can't wait for you to check it out. Can't wait for you to start putting it into place, into action, this one simple thing. And I can't wait to hear what you think and the progress that you make. So go check it out now. Privilege and pleasure to share it with you. And if you've got any questions or queries about it, then just let me know. Go check it out. I'll see you in the class.